Here we are again. It's another live stream coming your way right here on YouTube. Today we are talking about all sorts of things. You may already notice that spring has definitely arrived. The daffodils are in the garden and everything is looking rather nice, to be honest. In this live stream we are talking about many things. We will be playing fill in the blanks later on. And also we are talking about a very interesting subject, something that a lot of people are becoming more and more afraid of. Today we are talking about artificial intelligence, otherwise known as AI. Should I be afraid? Maybe one day there will be robot teachers walking around on the planet and I will have no job. I hope you will stay tuned. We have lots of things to come, including Mr. Steve as well. We are here live. This is English Addict, coming to you live and direct from the birthplace of the English language, which just happens to be England. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, here we are again. Yes, we are live. There you are. Hello there. I can see you in the corner watching us. We are back together again. And I suppose there is one thing we should explain first of all, before we continue any further. But before that, I will say hi, everybody. This is Mr. Duncan. That's me, by the way, in case you're wondering. And also, I will put it on the screen to help you. There we go. That makes it much easier. And of course,
Mr. Steve.
Mr. Steve is back with us as well.
Hello.
It's so nice to be back, but I suppose the first thing we should explain is something that has changed today. The time is the same, but it has also changed. Is that possible? Is it possible to have the same time but also have it change? I'm not sure, but this morning we were a bit confused, weren't we, Steve?
Confused.
We were confused.
Because when we woke up, the clock said one time, and then when we came downstairs, another clock said another time.
Yes, so we were confused, and the reason is because the clocks have gone forward. It is now officially springtime, everyone. Spring is here. It's official. So last night the clocks went forward. We always spring forward at the start of the spring season, and of course we fall back when winter arrives. So today, just to make sure that you are clear, it is now coming up to, I think that's a bit fast actually. There we go, that's better. It's around 7 minutes past 2 o'clock. It might be different where you are. For some people they do change the clocks, don't they?
Yes.
And others they don't.
I mean, it feels like 7 minutes past 1, which is what it would have been if the clocks hadn't have changed. So for those of you that are on now, you know, the clever ones are on now. You're all very clever because you've worked out that you've got to come on. I don't know if your clocks have changed. I don't know whether they've changed in France.
That's it. Well, for some people it does and some people it doesn't.
Well, for those where it hasn't changed, you're very clever because you worked out that it has changed here in the UK and you've come on an hour earlier than you otherwise would have done.
But of course it's good news for people watching in Asia because they get to see us slightly earlier.
Yes.
So that is good. So if you are watching in Asia, maybe China, Japan, for example, Vietnam, you might notice that we are on earlier, but we're not really. We're still on at the usual time.
Well, what we'd like to know is, have the clocks changed? Did the clocks go forward where you are? Did they go forward in France? Did they go forward in Poland? Did they go forward in other parts of Europe? Amsterdam, Holland, did they go forward there? Please let us know. So is it, still the same time for you relatively? Or are some of you coming on an hour earlier than you expected?
Yeah, so it's very strange. It's very unusual. Even here, we didn't realise. We actually forgot last night. Nobody's been talking about it. So normally everyone's talking about the time difference or the time change, but no one has been talking about it at all.
No.
And I was really confused this morning.
This is the first year I've not realised the clocks have changed. So we're on British summertime, as they call it.
That's it.
Which, of course, it's always confusing. So I always never work out, should I go to bed? What happens? Am I getting up an hour earlier or an hour later? And I can never work this out. Every year I have the same conversation with myself, thinking...
And of course, every year we have the same debate as to whether or not to scrap the whole thing.
Pedro's having breakfast.
Oh, wait there. We'll move on to the live chat in a second, Steve.
So
Hello to the live chat. Hi, nice to see you here. Hello to the live chat. It's lovely to see you here. Who was first? Oh, congratulations, Francesca. Hello, Francesca. You are first on today's live chat.
Not that it's a competition.
Not that it's a competition, but it is.
But we just like to.
So whoever is first on the live chat, you are the best person in the world today. Well done. Congratulations. True. No, you are the best. All the rest, too slow. That's it.
That's unfair, Mr. Duncan, because anyway, let's not go into that. Yes, very interesting. So
I would hope by now that people know I'm joking. I don't normally say I'm joking, but please just assume that if you hear something that is slightly offensive or upsetting, I'm joking.
Darius thinks that they were the first.
No. Darius, you were not.
What's that little break there? What's that to do with?
Don't worry about that, Steve. That's just technical stuff.
Right,
Only I know what that is.
So sorry, Darius. Darius, you were very nearly first. But yes, the time has changed in Poland. So, so maybe all our European viewers are synced in with us anyway.
Yes, I don't think it. Yes, it is. The difference is we're always different to the rest of Europe, but now I think we are now synchronized with them. But some people aren't. It's really confusing. Can we just stop doing this every year? Can we stop changing the clocks? Because to be honest with you, we've got many other things to think about in the world at the moment besides what time the clocks go back and whether they go back or forwards. We've got more pressing things to think about, if I was honest with you. So that's what happened this morning. Very strange, but we are here. Steve is here, looking good, even though you've been a bit tired this week, haven't you?
Yes, only because, performing a couple of weeks before always takes it out on me. I always lose weight. I've lost about 3 pounds. Because Mr. Duncan's on this diet, it means that I'm not having the same amount of calories as I usually have, and I tend to lose weight rather than gain it. So I'm losing weight. So I bought some protein powder to try and build myself up. And I'm just having to make a conscious effort to consume more calories because I don't want to be losing weight. I can't afford to. I'll just disappear.
Steve. We've got it, Steve.
Okay.
We've got it.
By the way, the theme today
Can we talk about me? Can we talk about how wonderful I look today?
Well, I should wait for other people to say that.
I don't care what other people think, as long as I think it. I look great, Steve. I feel great. I feel good. I feel healthy. I've lost weight. You can see it now in my face. Steve said yesterday how lovely I look now.
Yes, but you should wait for other people to tell you.
No.
Rather than announce it.
No, you have to say it now to me. So this is how I'm doing it now. I can't wait for compliments. I have to force them. I have to force the compliments out of you. So please, can you all say, Mr. Duncan, you look amazing today.
But that won't be sincere.
No, it doesn't matter. It still makes me feel the same.
Go on then. Make his day.
Can everyone please say how wonderful I look and I've lost weight and it's true. And I've started making, can you believe it, Steve? I've started making my own smoothies using fruit and even vegetables. I had a lovely smoothie that I made with blueberries, apples, oranges, and strawberries and also carrots. I put carrots in my smoothie, and it's rather nice, to be honest with you. So I am eating much healthier, and I've lost weight, and I think I look pretty good. I think I could go back into my male modelling that I used to do. Do you think so?
You're going a bit too far.
Do you think
then,
I could
Mr.
do that
Duncan.
again?
Well,
Of course, the big test is, can I fit into my skinny jeans? I have a pair of skinny jeans hanging upstairs. And the big question is, will I be able to wear them in the summertime? Or maybe I could wear them when we meet up in Paris. Oh la la!
that's your aim, isn't it? You want to look beautiful to meet up with people in Paris.
I do. I want to look lovely. I want you to all run towards me. Between all of the riots and the flames and everything burning, you can say, Mr. Duncan, you look amazing. You are like the chicest person in Paris. That's what I want. I expect all of those things.
By the way, the theme of today, as we know, Mr. Duncan, is artificial intelligence, isn't it, Mr. Duncan?
Maybe I am not Mr. Duncan. Maybe I am a robot. I am artificial intelligence. And Mr. Steve is human.
I'm pure analog. By the way, Bruno, you see, has already made a very clever comment in the live chat. Hello, Bruno. He says, hello to everyone, but he said, I've written this myself. It is not chat GPT or whatever it is. So I think you are referencing the fact that we're talking about AI today.
Yes, we are talking about... In fact, let's introduce it now, because I've gone to a lot of work to do this. We're going to have to remortgage the house because of all of the money I've spent on this little promo. So yes, today we are talking all about AI. Okay, that's it. Another 15 years of paying off the house just for that. Did you enjoy that? So today we are looking at AI, artificial intelligence. And to be honest with you, I could do with some of that around here. We could do with some intelligence, whether it's real or artificial. So that's what we're talking about, a big subject.
Anything else we're doing today?
We are playing Fill in the Blanks.
Oh, fill in the blanks, fill in the blanks.
Fill in the blanks, fill in the blanks, fill in the blanks, fill in the blanks.
So we're trying to do less sort of chit-chat, aren't we? And get more down straight into the business of learning English.
If you want to introduce anything to the live chat, you are more than welcome to do so. Don't forget, it's not just us. It's not just Mr. Steve with his handsomeness and me with my slim physique. It's also you as well.
To his head.
It's you on the live chat. Hello, live chat. I hope you are all real. I hope there are no artificial machines joining in today. I will know, of course, because I can tell the difference between artificial intelligence and the real thing. I hope so, anyway.
And that's an interesting question from Bruno. Why do you want to lose weight to look great in Paris?
Well,
I think it's just...
Why not?
It doesn't matter, of course, whether you're slim or not, but I think it's that's just something you want to do.
Well, I don't want to die. I don't want to die of some horrible disease like diabetes.
That's just you set yourself this as a goal. It's nice to have a goal. If you want to achieve something, in this case, Mr. Duncan wants to lose some weight. So he's using the trip to Paris as a goal to reach that goal. Otherwise, you know, if you've got a goal, something to aim for, then you're more likely to achieve it. We're not saying that you have to be slim.
No, well, I'm not telling anyone to be slim.
That's just what you want to do.
I just don't want to have diabetes. I don't want to have a heart attack. I don't want to end up on a life support machine with a artificial heart beating next to me in a big glass jar.
It's just something you've decided you want to do, and you've set yourself the goal of doing it by June.
Let's be honest. I'm at a delicate age, as we both are.
30s, in our mid-30s.
You know, as you push a certain age, it is true that certain things start going wrong, and you become more at risk of certain illnesses and diseases. So I'm going to make sure that doesn't happen, and that's the reason why I'm slimming down. I think I must have lost nearly a stone. So we will see at the end of March, which is next week. So next week I'm going to weigh myself next Sunday. Steve.
Yeah, I heard you.
Are you excited?
Yeah. But I wouldn't say excited. Interested.
I want to see if I've lost a stone in weight. Well, you're the one that's been nagging at me for all of these months to lose weight and get healthy.
In fact.
Yes.
Well, I could see you were going downhill.
Okay, Steve.
I could see where it would end up.
All right. Steve, steady on.
Is a smoothie made with yoghurt, says Rosie. Yes, you can make it with yoghurt or milk.
Well, my smoothie is made with milk and also a bit of yoghurt.
And a bit of yoghurt.
And lots of lovely fruit and vegetables. It's lovely. I was surprised how nice it tastes. Even though it takes a very long time to make it. You have to put all of the ingredients into this little machine, don't you, Steve? And it goes...
A blender. It's a blender. Yeah.
Food processor.
Blender, food processor. Yeah, they've got various names. Yes, we've got... I think we've got some new people on today, Mr. Duncan.
Oh. Well, to be honest with you, I will be honest, we need new people.
D.S. Mercado from Freire de Santaba, B.A. Now, I know I've pronounced that completely incorrectly, but welcome if you are new.
Dismaquido. Or Dismaquido. Hello to you.
New, not new?
I don't recognise your name. Watching in, where is it again? Fiera de Santana Bar.
Somewhere in South America, I'm thinking.
That does sound very exotic. It sounds like you should be sitting on the beach with palm trees.
Where are you, and are you new to this channel? Please let us know. Apologies if we don't recognise you and you're not. But it's always nice to see new people on. Various people saying that you do look good today, Mr. Duncan. So we'll have to see if any others good comments come up.
What I want, when we go to Paris, Steve, in June, I want photographers in Paris to stop taking photographs of people rioting, and I want them all to point their lenses at me. And they'll say, "Oh, ooh la la, Monsieur Duncan, you are so sexy and chic." And maybe I will appear on the cover of maybe one of those French magazines like Vogue. Or what's the other one?
Is that a French magazine, Vogue?
Well, the word Vogue is French, so I'm going to guess it is. I'm going to go with Vogue.
Nothing.
Maybe it's a French magazine.
Paris Match. I don't know if that magazine still exists. Paris Match or Paris Match.
Never heard of it.
Yeah, I think that's a very famous magazine. I think it's a fashion magazine. Maybe Lewis can tell us.
I suppose I could make it to Cosmopolitan, because they're not very fussy, you see.
Are they still going Cosmopolitan?
Yes, it's a big magazine.
I used to read that when I was younger. It's a women's magazine, isn't it?
It is.
And it used to be left around when I used to work in a hospital. On my break, the women used to bring it in and leave it lying around. It was quite fascinating to read.
That explains a lot.
For a man to read Cosmo, as we used to call it. It's a very thick magazine. There used to be a lot of interesting articles around various issues in there, sort of controversial issues, I would say.
Maybe.
About health and about sort of dating and things like that, and things around there. It used to be quite interesting. I'm not sure whether it's so sort of ahead of its time now, but Cosmo back in the 80s used to be quite a forward-thinking, sort of almost controversial sort of magazine. It used to talk about all sorts of subjects that were sort of delicate.
It's what we call high-end. Cosmopolitan is a high-end magazine, and now they've moved more towards fashion and things that people do, women's clothes and men's clothes and all of those sorts of things. But of course we think of the fashion magazines, and maybe that will happen. Maybe I will be standing under the Eiffel Tower and someone will come up to me and say, do you mind if I take your photo? You are so, how we say in French, sophisticated. That sort of thing. By the way, I can make fun of French people because I'm part French, okay?
Yeah, but yes. Well, with a name like that, yes. Yes, Nitram says it's not about losing weight per se. There's a good use. There's a good phrase to use. Per se.
Per se, yes.
As such.
As such.
As such. It's more about getting rid of excess fat or redundant fat and putting on some muscle through proper diet and mild, steady physical movements on a daily basis. Yeah, just sort of trying to improve your health. So,
keep moving.
If you are overweight for your height, then, people know, if you're overweight. And if you want to do something about it, fine. If you don't, you don't. Mr. Duncan does, so he's reached that point. So there you go.
It's purely, this is purely health. I just don't want to get diabetes or cancer when I have my legs chopped off, because I've realised that wouldn't be a good look for me, having no legs. So I do like to have.
I think it is you've got quite long legs.
I do like to have my limbs.
Well, you could lose a foot and not really notice. Yes. Anyway, talking about that trip to Paris, we do need to. There's been one or two comments saying that we need to, start communicating a bit.
Well, we are communicating,
so we will.
But there's nothing to say at the moment because we haven't. We all we're after at the moment is who is interested in joining us, and I've got that list now. So we have about 7 people, including us. So it will be about 9 or maybe even 10. So that's it at the moment, and then we're going to start saying what is happening and when we are meeting up. But that's a little bit too early because, to be honest with you, can I just say something? I have a few other things to think about at the moment. So we're planning my mum's funeral next week. I have to be honest with you, I'm not enjoying any of that. So that has kind of taken over my thoughts over the past few days. I'm going to be honest, and I'm not going to joke about that, but it has. So that's the reason why, Steve. If I'm a bit slow answering your emails, that's the reason why. So we are doing something personal as well at the moment.
Nitram has asked ChatGPT about Mr. Duncan.
Okay.
And it's come up with a response, and it says, this is very interesting.
Can I just say I don't believe it?
Yes, I'm aware of Mr. Duncan, also known as English Addict, says Nitram. He asked ChatGPT, is it BT?
GPT.
GPT. And various other things as well have come up after asking ChatGPT. Yeah. Many people find his teaching style engaging and entertaining. His videos have been a helpful resource for many English language learners around the world. I wonder how it says that.
Well, what it does is artificial intelligence is not knowing those things. It's just going around the internet and gathering information. It can do it very quickly, and then it just composes that information into something you can read. So it is actually technology that's been around for quite a while, but it's been refined certainly over the last 2 or 3 years to be much faster and more accurate, although it still is not accurate. Anyway, that's the subject we are talking about.
Very interesting.
We're talking about that later on.
Maybe we will, double check the credibility of everybody that wants to come on the Paris trip and ask ChatGPT about them. Hello, ChatGPT. What can you tell us about Tomek from?
Yes. I don't think it works like that. I think you've got to be a public figure. Apparently, I'm a public figure.
I'm joking.
Can you believe that? I'm a public figure. I've actually made it into the outside world, and now I'm logged I'm hardwired into the internet.
Well, at least it didn't say anything nasty about you, Mr. Duncan. It could have said porno star or something.
What?
From when you were younger. That could have brought that up. I'm only joking.
What?
I'm joking, Mr. Duncan. Right, let's get on with some teaching, shall we?
Yes, okay.
I'm leaning on the desk. You said you didn't want me to lean on
please don't lean on the desk.
I mustn't lean on the desk, and I mustn't fiddle around with my pencil.
I do feel as if I have to spend more time wrangling Steve
I'm just being human.
Yeah. Trust me, if there's one thing you're definitely not being, it's human. Would you like to see something I made the other?
I'm on there as well.
Steve, can I just present here?
I'm just saying, you know.
You're the guest. Just give me a sec. Talking of which, I have actually signed up for Chat GPT. I'm actually using it at the moment on a trial basis. And this is what I produced the other day. Would you like to see the picture that I produced here? Look at this, Steve. So there it is. I made that the other day just by describing the scene. So I was making my lovely smoothie and I wanted to make a list of all the ingredients. And that's exactly what I did. And I gave that to Chat GPT and it came up with this image. So it created that just using electronics and wires.
Well, that's quite frightening, really, isn't it?
So I simply put lots of fruit cascading from the sky with some apples, blackcurrants, and also oranges. And Mr. Steve is now sneezing.
I'm back.
Oh, dear. This is good.
I've had a funny chest the last couple of days, but yeah, that's quite frightening, really, to think that you could do that and then just paint it and pass it off as your own work.
Yes. Well, it is unique. That painting is unique. I tried to put a description of myself into it. Do you want to see what I actually look like on Chat GPT?
Oh, good grief!
That does not look like me, but I put my description into the computer and that's what it came up with. So apparently that's what I look like according to Chat GPT. So there I am. There's Mr. Duncan. And to be honest with you, I prefer this. I think this is much better than that. I don't want to look like that.
Even though that particular image has hair, a full head of hair.
Well, that's one of the reasons. It's a bit annoying.
Looks a bit Germanic to me.
Okay.
Like a sort of a German scientist or something. Or maybe a musician circa sort of 1840 or something.
1840.
It's that hairstyle. I think that's a very old-fashioned hairstyle. Yeah, interesting.
So thank you very much, Chat GPT, for trying to assimilate me into your mainframe, but it did not work. It did not work. Who else is on the live chat, Mr. Steve?
Claudia's here, but she's going because she's very busy.
Claudia is busy. I know at the moment you're taking care of your dad, so we do understand that. So don't worry, you can always watch this later on with lots of lovely captions as well. I have a feeling lots of people are missing today's live stream because of the time change. So I hope that people will be joining us over the next few moments because of the time difference, unfortunately. But it is interesting. What I always find interesting is have you ever looked your own name up on the internet?
No.
No, I have. I put Mr. Duncan into the search engine and all this stuff comes up about me. It's very strange. And if I put images and then search for me, all of these strange images come up from over the years, and some of them have been stolen by other people, and they are using my image on their websites. So that's one of the other reasons why people are afraid of artificial intelligence, because they think that machines will steal their identity. But to be honest with you, real human beings are doing the same thing anyway. So it doesn't really make much difference as far as I'm concerned.
So they call it artificial intelligence, but it's not really intelligence, is it?
No.
It's really sort of artificial information gathering.
Yes.
I think is more accurate because it's not intelligent. It's not a sentient being.
No.
Sentient, there's a good word, Mr. Duncan.
It doesn't feel pain. It isn't self-aware. So if you ask a computer, how old are you? It won't really know because it doesn't know, because it can't have any feeling or any sense of the reality or the time that is passed, unless of course it is information that's been put in to the computer. So this is a subject I'm very interested in, by the way, because I love technology and I love all of that stuff, if I was honest with you.
Good morning from Peru, says Juan Bernal.
Hello.
Are you new to the channel? I don't recognise your name. Do you, Mr. Duncan?
It's nice to see Peru here.
Yes.
Hello, Juan. I think Juan Bernal has been on here before.
Right. But so welcome again. Did we hear back from that other person who I thought was new, who I thought could have been from a South American country as well? Desmaquidido from Ferreira de Santa B. Oh, grief.
Yes.
I think ChatGTP would have made a better pronunciation than I did of
yes.
that.
I think so.
Yes. So, right, what are we doing first, Mr. Duncan? Are we doing a sentence game, or are we doing talking about words connected with AI?
We are doing the sentence. Well, it's not the sentence game, by the way. It's
missing the blanks. Fill in the blanks.
Fill in the blanks. This is good. How long have we been doing this?
Here we go. Beatrice is here, surprised by the time change.
Yes. I think a lot of people have been surprised because they might join us at 3 o'clock thinking that it's 2 o'clock. So that's the problem. It's all very weird. To be honest with you, I hate it when the clocks change. So just to confirm for everyone, that is now the time here in the UK. It is now 25 minutes to 3 in the UK. So if you look at your clock in your room, you can now instantly see what the time difference is. I think that's very useful, what I just did then.
But if you're in South America,
anyway, let's
someone near there, it's still you're going to be an hour earlier than you're going to be watching us an hour earlier.
Yes. Well, that's why I just said look at the clock. Look at the clock, and then just look at your clock, and then you will know what the difference is.
He's surprised by that.
Yes.
Yeah. Catches us out as well.
It's the simplest way of explaining it, because to be honest with you, I'm really sick of it already. Oh, look, you can see spring is happening, by the way. Everyone admiring the cherry blossom.
It's still out. It was out last week. It's still out.
Yes, it's looking very nice and spring-like.
Yes.
At the moment, outside. So I think that we will start talking about artificial intelligence. But first, I think it's quite good, or it would be a good idea, to have a look at a short video where I talk about that very subject. And then we will get in depth. We will go deep into the subject.
A deep dive.
Yes, a deep dive.
As they say.
Into the world of AI. All of that coming up right after this. Here's a word that might be familiar to you. The word technology generally relates to any complicated tool that has been created to carry out a task of some sort. This task can be a simple one, such as adding up numbers, right up to the really complex and difficult ones, such as steering a jumbo jet or sending someone to the moon. There are some other words that relate to technology, such as device, which is something that uses technology to function, such as a smartphone or tablet. They are types of devices. The device forms the hardware of the technology, while the programs and applications running inside are the software. They are both forms of technology. It is hard to imagine what life was like before modern technology came along. Technology is used almost everywhere now. in factories and offices, in our leisure pursuits, in our cars and homes, and perhaps in the not too distant future as a part of the human body. It would be fair to say that virtually all of the great technological leaps forward have occurred during the past 100 years. Since the discovery of electricity, our world has been magically transformed into an amazing wonderland where our thirst for information can be easily quenched and the human imagination is encouraged to run free. Do you like technology? Would you miss it if it wasn't around? What piece of technology do you use the most? A computer game? A mobile device? A super-duper talking watch? Which piece of technology are you looking forward to using in the future? A flying bicycle? A driverless car? An artificial brain? A holographic TV perhaps? Will they ever be reality? Only time will tell. I'm rather pleased with that, to be honest. That took me about 5 hours to make, and it's just 18 seconds long. Isn't it amazing? Don't you love technology? I love technology, Mr. Steve. Have you noticed?
Yes, you are a tech fan.
I am.
You're a tech geek.
You will never really understand how much technology at the moment. You will never really appreciate just how much technology is operating right now just to get our little pink faces onto your screen.
Yes, you see, you like technology, but some people are fearful of it. In fact, Juan Bernal has said that he is fearful of it. And I think I am as well. And I think a lot of people are, because mainly our sort of source of reference for being fearful about technology and science is obviously the films that we watch, like sort of what's that one with Arnie in it? I can't remember what it's called now.
Arnie?
Yeah.
What, Terminator?
Terminator. Things like films like Terminator, which always put that technology is always going to end up being bad in some way.
Yes.
And that, of course, is what films often depict.
Yes. I think science fiction was ahead of everything else. And that's one of the things I love about science fiction, is that quite often it comes true eventually. And that is the reason why people fear artificial intelligence, because in literature, in science fiction, quite often the machines turn out to be bad.
2001 Space Odyssey. I don't think there's many science fiction films where technology's not ended up being bad. So I think as a result of that, we've got this fear of it. In reality, who knows what will happen? There's no way of predicting the future. But that famous scientist that died, who talked about black holes,
Stephen Hawking.
Stephen Hawking. Yes, I'm glad you remember. I think just testing you there.
Is there any chance of getting a computer chip put in your head?
Stephen Hawking. Yeah, I mean, before he died, one of his last interviews was saying that's how he saw the greatest danger to the human race was artificial intelligence.
Which is ironic, really, because he had a giant machine strapped to him all the time.
Yes, but it was just to help him.
Yes, I didn't say it wasn't, but it's the irony. That's what I'm saying. They should have downloaded Stephen Hawking into a computer.
You can't do that.
No, but if it was doable.
Yes.
I didn't say it was possible, but they could have, you see. So he would have actually been still alive in a computer. And the beauty is he wouldn't have sounded any different. Am I going to get cancelled? Is that bad? Is that a bad thing, YouTube? Oh, no, it's okay.
Yes,
it's okay.
But that, yeah. And
they said I can say that.
Nitram has pointed out that he's taking a course in machine learning. And many people are actually surprised to find out that all this kind of technology is all based on maths, mathematics. Yeah, so the kind of as we say, we're calling it artificial intelligence, but it's not really that. It's a bit of a misleading phrase, isn't it? Because it's not intelligence.
No, it refers, intelligence in this instance refers to just data and information that has been gathered or is installed,
and is using algorithms, isn't it?
That's it. Yes.
To work. So that ChatGPT, is it PT or whatever it is using an algorithm. So it's maths. And it appears that it's thinking,
yes,
but it's not really using any intelligence. It's just gathering data.
But the good thing is you don't have to be afraid, because Isaac Asimov, you remember him? He came up with the laws of robotics. So a robot can never harm another human being, but it can harm another robot if that human being is in danger, as I understand it. So robots can never really harm human beings unless it's a situation where the robot has to then protect the human being.
But that's only if you've programmed it to do that in the first place.
Well, I would
imagine.
Well, that's why there's a basic law. That's the law that will be
broken at some point.
Okay, Steve.
But we haven't got that. In fact, I've read some articles recently.
We don't have robots yet. So.
Well, that's what I mean. I've read some articles recently that think that they don't really think it might not be possible that you could get a machine, because this doubling, there's this figure, Nitram will know about this, where computer power is doubling every so many years.
Yes, what we're heading towards is a quantum singularity.
That's it.
Where everything works in exactly the same way. But
that's been slowing down, so the rate that's been doubling has actually slowed down, from what I'm reading. So they thought there was going to be this point in about 10 years' time when artificial intelligence would actual intelligence, machines would become cleverer than us, but they're actually doubting whether that would ever take place.
Although
we'll have to wait and see.
When we look at human beings that are around now, I think my toaster in the kitchen has more intelligence than some human beings.
Well, that's it. I mean, let's see what happens, but probably in our lifetime we'll find that out. I mean, they worked out as well about human beings having more intelligence than we've got at the moment. Could something develop from us, evolve, that was much more intelligent than us? And some biologists don't think that might not be possible, because you would need a brain. If your brain gets bigger, it's got to be cooled, just like a computer does.
Well,
that's very difficult.
That's
evolutionary terms.
That's the point I'm trying to get to now, is because we can't get artificial intelligence any more intelligent. And the one thing that's stopping it is the processor power, which Steve just actually mentioned. So that's the thing that's holding us back. And it's just a very simple thing called thermodynamics. That's what's holding all of this back. Because the more processor power, the more processing a computer has to do, the hotter it gets. And that's what's holding all of this back now. We can't get a computer or a device to do something without catching fire.
Until they work out this way of cooling to get electricity to flow better when it's very cold or something. I don't understand that, but Nitram know all about that.
Yes.
But they are trying to develop other ways of doing it. But yeah, anyway.
Well, the new one, of course, is liquid computers, which actually have the information carried in, as it sounds, liquid. Wow, I love that. This is really, it's like science fiction. So I love all of this. I love reading articles about all of the developments. And of course it helps me with my work, because every time a computer system is updated, I have to make sure that my technology is also up to date. So it's great fun. I love it, to be honest. I'm not really afraid of AI or anything like that, because, well, for two reasons. One, I think it will be all right. And two, I think it's about 100 years away. So I think we don't have to worry. But I would like to have my consciousness, Steve, put into a robot. That would be nice if they can do that. So as you're dying, the machine can take all of that information and put you into a little computer, a little box, and that's where you can sit there with a little robot eye watching everything.
Ooh, how horrendous!
It sounds
There was
like
a film about that, wasn't there, where they did that to somebody? It didn't turn out well.
it never does.
It never does in science fiction. Well, the thing is, it's like the weather. We can't do anything about it. So whatever is developed will happen. It's we're on a path. It's going to happen at some point. Quantum computers. That's the other thing. If they can solve that, but they reckon that's decades off.
Yes.
Just like trying to let's talk most technology. Whenever they say it's available, it's always sort of add 10 years onto it.
Well, it is a 10-year cycle. So everything doubles every 10 years. That's the basic law. So since 2000, and this is what I mentioned the other day about when I was in China, it was very hard to connect with anyone on the internet. And I couldn't let Steve know. We had to communicate in these old-fashioned ways. The telephone. We used to telephone each other.
Smoke signals.
Using telephone. Hello, I'm on the telephone now, and I can hear you at the other end. It all sounds so old-fashioned. Now, everyone's using the internet and webcams and video conferencing. It's all lovely. So I get very, very tingly down here when I think of technology, to be honest. And as somebody once famously said, all technology has one rule. You must be able to have sex with it. It is true, Steve.
That's what will what will definitely drive the development of robots that look like humans.
It's already happening, Steve. Have you seen the big kiss lips? They've got this robot now. It has big lips, and you can kiss a person at the other end on the internet, and it's got this mouth that opens, and you can go. I don't know what else you can do with it, but I'm sure people will try. I'm pretty sure of it.
Yeah, they will develop a sex bot, won't they? If that's what I'm sure that was a phrase that was coined in a film. If you're a lonely old man or a lonely old woman,
or anyone,
then or somebody that doesn't want to go out there and socialise in the real world, then you'll be able to buy yourself. Yes. Actually, that sounds quite good, actually.
Yeah, I want to be able to flick the switch at the back. So maybe I could have a robot version of Mr. Steve, and then when he becomes too annoying, I can just turn the switch on his back, and then he switches off. That would be...
Yes.
See, that's a good thing. That's a good bit of technology.
Gary Ale, is that somebody new?
Gary Ale. Hello there. Who am I seeing over there? Mr. Duncan and Mr. Steve. Yes, Gary Ale. We are here. I'm Mr. Duncan, and he is Mr. Steve. I'm the slim one, and Mr. Steve is the not so slim one. I'm terrible.
His head's getting too big.
I'm getting arrogant.
He's getting arrogant, Mr. Duncan. You've got to calm down. By the way, we do really have to get our act together about this Paris meet.
Yes, we are going to, Steve. I've got a funeral next week to plan. My mother. So as soon as I've had my mother's funeral, I can get back to talking about going to Paris in June. That has taken up a bit of my thought.
Let's just reiterate as well, we don't want to communicate any of the details of the trip.
No.
Not that there are many, not even the dates. We don't want to, only the people that want to go.
Yes.
We want to talk about. So we would ask that if when we sort of sorted out more details, that the people that are going, please don't talk about it on.
Well, no.
Chat.
That's the reason why I want to do it via email, and then eventually I will create a WhatsApp group, and then we can communicate and arrange the actual definite details. So it's all being done off YouTube. So if you want to get in touch, if you are interested in meeting up in Paris at the beginning of June, please get in touch with me. There it is. There's the email. And you can say, Mr. Duncan, I would very much like to meet you in Paris. or should I say, what is left of Paris?
Yes.
By the time June comes. So there it was, the email address. We are looking at AI today.
Gary Ale is in Russia. So welcome.
A big privet to Russia. Hello to you.
We welcome people from all over the world.
Yes.
No limits.
If you are nice, if
no restrictions.
If you are lovely, if you are rich, we will... Particularly that one.
And attractive.
So we are looking at AI, artificial intelligence, words and phrases today, Mr. Steve. And then a little bit later, we are going to play Fill in the Blanks. That is coming, and it is all related to computers and technology.
Oh,
Mr.
And that won't be too long. So, right, okay.
I don't know what that means.
I don't know either.
Okay. For years, we have accepted machines into our life. Can you think of the earliest machine? It can be anything, Steve. The first machine you remember helping you in your life.
Lawnmower.
Really? As a child?
Yes.
What, you used to mow the lawn when you were a young child?
We had a big garden when I grew up. My father taught me how to use the lawnmower from a very young age.
So not the television?
Well, the television, yes. Television, definitely, yes. I would say, yeah.
I would say that technology has been in my life for as long as I can remember. I will be honest with you. Television was the first contact, I suppose, I had with technology. And then, of course, I realised that technology can do so many things. And that was way back in the 1970s. So even then, it almost felt as if technology was doing lots and lots of wonderful things around us. So for years, we have accepted machines. Of course, things like, I suppose, for the housewife, you can think of lots of things. They have always played a subservient role, as in the fact that we control them. So that is an interesting word, subservient. Subservient is an interesting word that means what?
It means that you are. That means you are not in control. Now, you will take orders from other people, like if you've got a boss at work, and your manager, you are subservient to them. That means that they are the boss of you. Yes, it just means that you don't make the decisions in a relationship, for example. You're not the person that makes the decisions.
So subservient just means lower in, well, maybe in authority, or when we are talking about machines, we are talking about something that just carries out the role or does the job and has no input in what happens concerning that actual job or the actual role. So that is what subservient means. Yeah. Are you okay, Mr. Steve?
I'm okay, Mr. Duncan. I think we need to remove that. But there you go. Yes, carry on, Mr. Duncan.
Okay, I don't know what you're on about there. They have always played a subservient role. And we often use machines to do things for us, quite often things we don't want to do. My mother used to spend many hours in the kitchen, washing the clothes, making the food, lots of machinery, and most of the devices are actually quite simple things. So to recap, a subservient thing obeys, commands the things you want it to do. And when we talk about basic machinery, then that's what we're talking about. Things that do jobs for you. A big change came, and this is it, Steve. This is where it all began. A big change came with the development of computer chips and processors. Ooh. So this little item on the screen now, this little thing here, this changed the world. It's amazing. This tiny little slither of silicon with hundreds of thousands of circuits. And you can actually look at a microchip under a microscope. And it's incredible. It's like a little city. But it's all contained in a tiny little slither of silicon. So a big change came with the development of computer chips, or quite often these days, we often call them processors. You often hear people talk about processors rather than microchips. It seems like a very old-fashioned word now, doesn't it? The ability to miniaturize the hardware required to run computers changed the world. Can you think of something that had a microchip that you used years ago? The first time you came across
Probably
it?
a phone, probably my mobile phone, I would say, or my laptop computer.
Or maybe a calculator?
Yes, a calculator would have been the first thing. You're right, Mr. Duncan.
Yes. So when we think about microchips, even the most basic device, and I remember at school when people started bringing calculators to school, and the teachers would always say, hey, no calculators. Put that calculator away. You have to use your brain. And these days, it's almost become the opposite. So they almost encourage in certain academic tests or exams. So they encourage people to bring computers or calculators into their exam, which I find amazing. So you can see how things have changed over the years. So making things smaller, I suppose, was one of the big steps. Would you agree?
Definitely, yes. Sorry, I'm looking at the live chat. Well, obviously, yes, the smaller you can make things, the better it is, I presume. That's why we've got laptops, isn't it?
Yes.
Because we used to have big desktop computers.
And of course,
now they can miniaturize them.
We have these now. We have these things. Cell phones, smartphones, call them what you want. They have become such an integral part of our lives. And there you can see I'm watching us. And that's how I'm able to read the live chat. It's incredible. So I love technology very much. I think it's fair to say that we all love it really secretly. So this change also allowed computers to become more powerful in processing data. And that's what it all comes down to, isn't it, Steve, when you think about it? That's what it's all about. It's all about data. Most of this stuff is just information. It's things that have been stored electronically using ones and zeros. So that's it. All computer language is just lots of those doing their little thing. It's amazing, really. Binary code. Very lovely. The rise in the use of computers and technology in general has increased. I think it is fair to say that computers over the past 20-25 years have become commonplace. We had our first proper computer, and you had it in your job, didn't you, Steve? You had a computer in the mid-1990s.
Yes.
It's incredible, but it's true.
It's not that very long ago when you think about it.
So I think it was around 1996, Steve had his first laptop. So imagine what that was like. And then we actually got a home computer, didn't we? And that was in 1999, I think that was.
Was it?
Yes, we got a home computer. And then that's it. And then since then, I've been completely hooked.
So really, it's only just over 20 years ago.
Yes.
That there's been this sea change for most people. By the way, Carmen is asking, am I late? Well, the clocks have changed. We'll explain that again. The clocks have changed in the UK. They've gone forward an hour. We're in British summertime. So, yes, so I can understand that you're coming on now at, what is 3 o'clock UK time?
It's 3 minutes past 3 o'clock. So look at the clock here and look at your clock where you are, and now you know what the time difference is. That's the easiest way of doing it. There's no other way of doing it. That's the best way.
Twice a year our clocks change, and they've just changed again for spring. So it'll be an hour earlier for you than you expect.
Okay. or just
until
or just look at the clock.
September, and then they'll change again.
Oh, okay, so let's not confuse it anymore. Over the past 50 years, Steve, over the past 50 years, computers have become.
Are we getting to artificial intelligence now? We're getting into that, are we?
Yes.
Good.
Yes, that's what we're doing today, Steve. Over the past 50 years, computers have become more intelligent. That is to say, their ability to process information has become better. Maybe they can store more information, or what we are seeing nowadays, of course, is the speed at which things can process information. This has led to the fear that one day computers will be as smart, if not smarter, than humans.
Very quiet. Well, it may well happen. Yes, we don't know, but it may well happen. Interesting question from Rosa about funerals, because you mentioned it.
Okay.
Rosa said, aren't funerals the next day after death in the UK? Not normally, just to clear. I know it's nothing to do with this, but very quickly.
I just don't really want to talk about it, to be honest.
No, but they're not, because yes, we have got big fridges. Yes, so yes, it's normally when the funeral home can arrange it. So it's normally 2 to 3 weeks afterwards. Except certain cultures probably don't, but generally, yeah, it's several weeks afterwards. Yeah, on right, Mr. Duncan. Just thought I'd answer that question.
That's good, Steve. Anyway. Where was I? These days we use the term AI to describe smart technology. So things that are doing work for you or jobs for you, and that's it. They're pretty good at doing that.
What's a 7 or 5 or even 2 micrometers in processor production?
I have no idea what you're talking about, Steve.
Oh, just a question from Gary Ale.
That doesn't. I don't know.
No, I'm just asking whether that's something to do
I didn't
with
understand the question.
You should talk a bit about 5 or 7 or even 2 micrometers of modern technology and processor production. So that must be to do with the latest chips, I'm thinking. Maybe you could tell us.
Well, I think that's referring to the dimensions, because modern chips, they're just like little wafers. They're wafer thin.
Right.
Yes, they're very thin. And that's what they're trying to do, shrinking things down and making them smaller presents a lot of problems. But it is true, they are trying to make things much smaller, and they can. I mean, years ago in the 1970s, a basic computer would take up a whole room. Now, you can hold a computer with more processing power than that big computer in your hand. You can just hold it. And that can process more things than that big computer in the 1970s. But making things smaller, that's the hard part. You've got to keep making it smaller, but also more powerful.
Without the heat building up.
It's not easy.
Miniaturization, says Darius, has accelerated. In Poland, we have smaller and smaller cubes of butter. Yes, everything's getting smaller.
It is true.
Yes, so not just chips, but food as well. Yeah, chocolate bars get smaller, don't they?
Yes.
Everything gets smaller, not just microchips.
It's a bit like old age. Everything gets smaller when you get older. Some things get larger, like your stomach, and some things get much smaller.
Even down to nanometers, yes. It's all about the size of the inner details in modern processors.
Yes.
Yes, Gary L says that's what we're talking about, the wafer thin size of the chips. And of course, a lot of like the memory now, it used to be it's solid state now, isn't it? The memory in modern computers.
Most modern computers have moved now from analog, where you have a big wheel going round and everything's on a magnetic disc. Now it's all literally ones and zeros, solid state. So that's where it's all going. But even that now is a little restrictive. So even that is restrictive. So what we're moving towards now, Steve, is where things are kept somewhere else. So your computer doesn't have to be a big computer or a powerful computer as long as you have fast internet. So the internet is the future of technology, and AI, and everything will be stored somewhere else around the world in those big warehouses full of computer processors, and everything will be there. So all we need to do now is make everything faster. You need very fast internet to do that.
Which, of course, is a mission that governments have all around the world, is to bring fast internet available to everybody. Because unless you've got that, you can't be present in the modern world now. You've got to have fast internet. There was another question earlier on.
What they're talking about now is gigabyte technology, which is very fast. It's all right. I'm just choking up here because of things.
Water.
Oh dear.
You all right, Mr. Duncan?
Yes, it's okay. Just a bit emotional, that's all. These days we use the term AI to describe smart technology. So smart technology can be anything that's doing the work for you. And I've noticed these days there is a move towards everything having computer chips inside them. And I suppose I should mention, and I'm going to mention it, I know I'm going to regret this, cars. Cars.
Well, talking of computer chips and cars, there has been a big shortage of computer chips, has there not, since the pandemic? And there was a big fire in a massive computer chip firm in, I think it was Taiwan somewhere. But since the pandemic and wars or whatever's going on in the world,
pandemic and wars, yes,
there's been the transference of goods from one country to another has been disrupted, and there has been a shortage of chips, which has had a particular impact on the manufacture of cars, because your modern cars now have so many chips in them. There's chips everywhere.
Well, that's what
hundreds of different chips in cars.
Can we say processors? Because chips sounds like you're frying potatoes.
Well, we know what we're talking about, don't we?
Yeah,
processors. Chips, processors.
So even modern cars now are controlled mainly by artificial intelligence, or at least some sort of processing is taking place in a computer. Even aeroplanes, if you remember, I think it was about 3 years ago now, there was those, I think it was the Boeing 747 MAX, and two of them crashed because the computer was telling them to do it. And I must admit, that's the one problem with computers. If you rely too much on them and then they go wrong, then bad things can happen. So there might be a little bit of truth in that computers probably shouldn't be relied on too much.
Well, when they go wrong, it's like this. Some of the Tesla cars were in the news, weren't they? Because they've got this autonomous driving capability where you just sort of sit back with your feet on the dashboard.
Well, you don't do that.
I'm just making a point that you don't have to have your hands on the wheel. It automatically keeps the distance between the car and front. A lot of modern cars do that now. Mine does it. It's quite good when you're on the motorway. But when it goes wrong, lots of people have been killed because their cars slam into another car or something, presumably because the driver wasn't concentrating and relying too much on the tech. Because you're still supposed to be conscious. You don't just sort of set the car into automatic and then read a book.
Well, it's already happening though in China. They have a city where there are now driverless cars. They're testing it. I think it's taxis. I think they're trying automated taxis that you can just jump into now. You tell them where you want to go, and you show them your credit card, and then it takes you there. And you don't even have to. There's no one there driving the car. So that's happening right now in China. And as I always say, China are always ahead of everyone else. Don't forget that, everyone.
But of course they would have had to. That's only over. They would have had to construct the roads in a certain way to make that possible, with sensors under the roads and everything. Because that's the only way of making this work properly, probably. But yes, autonomous driving. I can't see it happening that soon. I mean, they were on about it. I mean, would you get into a taxi with no driver?
Well, I wouldn't.
At the moment,
I wouldn't get into a taxi with a driver.
they've tried it in various places, and of course, once they go wrong, if there's nobody there to correct it, then the vehicles get stuck in all sorts of odd places.
I can't afford to take a cab or a taxi anywhere because they're too expensive. Just if you just go up the road now, it's about £15. So that's the reason why. I hope they're cheaper,
Yes.
but of course they won't be.
Valentin says self-driving cars are a good example. Yeah.
So I think from that point of view, cars, it's a good example. But I suppose other things as well. Your house, and we haven't even talked about this yet. The house where you are sitting now, where we are standing right now. A lot of people now are using AI in their house to control all sorts of things. The heating, for example, even the lighting. So they might just ask their computer to turn the lights down or to turn them on or to make them dim. And all you have to do is say, hello, computer, or hello, Alexa. Alexa, hi Siri, or hi, Alexa. I'm only doing that on purpose, Steve, so if they've got an Alexa nearby, it'll come on. Hey, Alexa, open the curtains. So that's all you have to do. In the future, that's all you have to do. And then the computer will do everything for you.
Well, I mean, I've got a friend that has Alexa. And the trouble is, half the time it doesn't work, or there's this annoying delay. I mean, maybe it's the way they're trying to communicate with it, but I mean, the thing is, it's not going to be able to open your curtains unless you've got curtains with electric motors in them.
Well, yes, it's not magic.
Things like that.
It's not a. It's not a genie in a lamp.
And of course, they don't know. But no, I'm just saying you can't. It's people are using it, but it's just for things like switching the television on and off.
It's you can buy everything now. It's all available now, Steve. There are things you can plug in, and it operates everything.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Electrical devices. I'm talking about. Yeah,
but even curtains now.
Well, yeah, but you still have to have your curtains, with motors in them.
Yes, that's right.
Work. Yeah, you could potentially do it.
I know. I'm not saying they could do everything.
But you're so lazy, you can't get up and shut your own curtains. Why would you need to ask a computer to shut your curtains for you?
That's just an example I used. Or maybe lock all the doors in the house. Maybe there is someone outside prowling around your house, and you can say, Siri, lock all the doors. Or
but
maybe
shouldn't they be locked anyway?
Well, not necessarily.
Who leaves all their doors unlocked when they're sitting in the house?
Okay, maybe it's extra security then. Maybe a gun comes out at the front of the house, like RoboCop, and then you have 10 seconds to comply. And then you have 5 seconds to comply. And then it says, you've been warned. And that's it. There you go.
Well, anyway, yeah. So, I mean, I can't see that it's. I'm never going to get anything like that, Mr. Duncan. No, I'm never going to get an Alexa.
Well, you can just about operate a smartphone at the moment. So.
No, I'm quite good with that, Mr. Duncan. You're a bit disingenuous there. Because who's listening? Who else is listening in? It's like smart TVs. It's like having a smart meter for your electricity or your gas. I'm not going to have a smart... Is that your stomach?
It is my stomach.
I'm not going to have a smart meter. Do you have these in your country?
What?
Well, I don't know. I don't know whether they're just in this country or not.
That's really just something that... Yes, anyway.
A smart meter.
That's not... Yes. Anyway, I'm just
reading electricity because, they could switch it off at any time.
Okay.
You've got... I'm not keen on that sort of thing. And, if I want to switch my television on and off, I'll get up from the seat and
No, you
do
don't.
it.
No, you don't. You use
Use
the remote.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, well, that's it. You're actually, strangely enough, you're answering the next thing I'm going to say is we already use these things for convenience. So, for example, when you change the channel on your TV, you just have a little remote control. So it's just really an extension of that.
Yes,
it's things that are convenient.
Yeah, but that remote control isn't sending a signal to somebody else's computer up in the cloud.
Well, no, you don't need to do that because your TV is listening to you anyway.
Well, a modern TV is, yes, but ours probably isn't.
And your phone, all the time.
Yeah, but I don't want that, you see. So I switch off all these things. So it's just adding complication to life. I want life to be simple, analog, and simple.
No,
I don't want to be blah blah blah. Hello Alexa, can you switch on to BBC One, please? By the time I've said that, I've done it on the remote control anyway.
Well, you don't have to worry about that because BBC One won't exist much longer, so it'll all be gone.
Yeah.
It'll just be, Alexa, please put the latest blockbuster movie into my brain, and then it will beam with a laser into the middle of your head, and then you can watch the latest Fast and Furious movie.
Oh dear. There's nothing much on worth watching anyway.
Okay. So we have ChatGPT, which uses AI to compose essays and create elaborate images. So this is kind of up to date now. This is what's happening now. And everyone is talking about it. And I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to give my honest opinion because I've been using ChatGPT for the past week. And I have to say, it's all right. But to be honest, it's a bit dull. It's a bit clinical. Now, I like writing. I like typing things. I like composing things. At the moment, I'm writing a little thing for my mum's funeral. And I could, if I wanted, Steve, I could say, hello, ChatGPT. I wish they'd give it another name.
Yeah, it's not a very catchy name.
ChatGPT, could you please write a eulogy for a person's mother? And that's it. And then it does it for you. But the only problem is it's not you doing it, so it won't be personal. It'll be just things that are not specific or not related to your personal experiences. So that's the reason why I found it a bit dull and a bit boring. And to be honest with you, I'm not going to keep it. So I've got a trial at the moment of it. And I've been using it. And to be honest, it's fine, but it gets a little boring after a while because you don't feel as if you're putting any work in. There has to be some effort on your part. It's a bit like doing this. You have to have some creation, something taking place that is coming from you, from your heart and your mind, or else it's just empty and meaningless. So I won't be keeping it, and I will still continue. I will carry on writing all of my lessons and everything I do using this computer that is up here in my skull. Yeah, so that's my opinion of it. So I don't feel threatened by it. To be honest, I think the average person will become quite bored with it. And they will feel as if everything becomes empty and sterile.
A lot of people are doing this trial, aren't they?
Yes.
And they're working out whether it's worth keeping it or not.
I won't be keeping it. I will be cancelling it probably tomorrow. So it's fine. But to be honest, there is no substitute for the human brain, the human heart, the human. Full stop.
Carmen says, is Alexa in my cell phone? I think it's something you buy, isn't it?
It depends what you're using. That's what it's all about there. Amazon, of course, is related to Alexa. And we have Siri, which is related to iOS. So if you have an iOS device, you use Siri.
Yes, I had to switch that off. It was so annoying.
It is so annoying.
Because I was just talking and the thing was saying, was suddenly, I wasn't even asking it anything. So the first thing I did with my phone was switch Siri off because it was so annoying.
I know. I don't use it either. It's very annoying.
Does anyone use Siri? Let us know. If you've got an iPhone, do you use Siri?
Yes.
Now, Alexa is you have to buy a box, don't you, and put it in your house somewhere and wire it up to the internet, I presume. I've no idea.
That's all owned by Amazon.
So it's Amazon then.
That's Jeff Bezos's little baby.
Ah, right. Okay. So there you go. That's something I've learnt, Carmen, as well. So it's not in your cell phone, and it depends. What about if you've got not an iPhone? You've just got a. What's not an iPhone? If you've just, what's the other operating system?
What do you mean, Android?
Yes, if you've got an Android phone, has that got its own?
Yes, I think they have their own application as well, voice application. I can't remember what it's called. I'm sure someone will tell me because I haven't had an Android phone for a very, very long time.
Well, cars, you see, because modern cars, if you've noticed. If anyone's bought a modern car recently or been looking into it, instead of having buttons and knobs and switches, they're all disappearing in modern cars, and they've all the controls are now on these giant touch screens. So if you want to change the temperature on your car, you've got to go into a menu and etc. on it, which is a lot of controversy about how distracting that is.
Okay.
What is the point I was trying to make?
I have no idea.
I was trying to make a point there, Mr. Duncan. I've completely forgotten what it was now.
Anyway.
Oh, yes, I know, voice recognition.
Okay.
So in order to try and help people with that, voice recognition has been in cars for some time. Mercedes, I think, were the first to put it on theirs. And you just sort of talk. You can learn some commands, and it will supposedly change your radio station for you, increase the temperature, decrease the temperature, or whatever.
Okay, yeah.
But they're ridiculous, notoriously unreliable. Even the most modern systems. When I've seen somebody doing a road test, you have to say, "Hey, Mercedes" or something. And it doesn't understand what you're doing. You say to it, "Oh, please change to Radio 4," and it says, the time is 8:54.
Yes.
They don't work. They're unreliable and very frustrating.
But in all honesty, you do mumble. So
No,
I think
but
that's
this is not just
you're
me.
probably going.
No, I'm not mumbling, Mr. Duncan. My voice doesn't mumble. My voice is clear. That's a very disingenuous criticism.
I'm going to be honest with you. I do use AI when I'm generating my captions for videos and things like that, because now my AI system that is built into my editing software can read everything I say, and it generates captions, and it is 99.5% accurate. There are sometimes the occasional mistakes, but it's absolutely brilliant. I love it. I love it when I generate my captions. So I can do a 2-hour show with maybe 25,000 words, and it will generate the captions for that in 4 minutes.
That's clever.
4 minutes. Thousands of words, captions generated.
But you used to write those all on afterwards. It used to take you hours.
Yes.
Did you look at last week's lesson to see, because we had a certain person on whose name was Regina.
No, don't say that.
Yeah, I know,
Regina.
but I'm just saying, Regina. I'm just saying. How did it interpret that word?
I didn't look.
on the captions.
I didn't look.
From last week. That would be worth looking at.
Yes. So anyway, before we finish this bit, because we have fill in the blanks coming soon, all connected to computers, the new threat comes from software that can mimic human behaviour. That's what people are now worried about. But as we mentioned earlier, that particular software has to also have some sense of being and have some sentient qualities. So to actually understand what it is. And that's what human beings have. We are able to look in the mirror. I can look in the mirror and admire my lovely slim features that have developed over the past 3 or 4 weeks. And I can say, yes, there I am. There I am. I can see myself. I know I'm there. Computers can't do that. If you put a computer in front of a mirror, it doesn't do anything.
It's like an animal. An animal isn't really aware. Well, some might be. We don't really know. But yes, sentient, self-aware, can question what is around about you.
Yes. It is an amazing thing, but it also is a curse because we are the only animals on the planet that are aware of our own mortality. No other creature is.
That we know of.
That we know of. Okay. So nowadays, education, art, science, and even reality itself can be created by a machine. And that is what is happening now. A lot of people now are posting videos on the internet, things that appear, and it's very hard to tell if they are real or not. Do you want to see an example of it, Steve?
Well, yes, you go on then.
Here we go. Here's an example. You're going to love this. Apologies to all Catholics watching. This is a image that appeared this morning on Twitter. Apparently it's the Pope. The Pope wearing the latest coat that everyone is now wearing, these very long coats that look like giant sleeping bags. But that's the Pope. However, there are people now saying that that image is not real. It's been generated on a computer using AI. And that is one of the things that's happening with photographs and also videos. So even videos now can be fake. Even if the person is talking, you can actually show that person's face and even their voice. A computer can now replicate all of those things. And it's hard to tell if that's really the person talking or if it's the machine that's generated it. I find that fascinating, but also a little scary, because one day they might replace me. They could have a computer program that is just me on the screen with my voice, and I have nothing to do with it.
How do you know it hasn't already happened?
How do you know this isn't?
Well, that of course is one of the theories of existence, isn't it? That we don't actually exist at all. We actually are a computer generation by a highly advanced civilization that has created us in a computer, and we think we exist, but in fact we don't.
Yes. So my point is that these days, even things that we see on the internet, and the internet has become a bit of a misleading place to be. So I think it is fair to say that does happen from time to time.
Maybe you could ask ChatGPT whether it's a sentient being or not. Can you ask it about itself?
Well, people have, and all it does is explain what it is. Right. It doesn't actually know what it is, and that's the problem. The time to worry is when you ask a computer how they are feeling, and they say, "I'm feeling okay, thank you."
But you see, you showed that picture of the Pope with a coat on. I mean, that's the sort of thing that they could have done 30 years ago, couldn't they? You could have photoshopped.
Yes, but that whole image may have been created, including the figure himself and the face, everything right. has just been created from nothing on a computer. I find that amazing, and it does look realistic. And there are people this morning debating whether that is awful. Sorry, that is awful. That is real or not.
Well, this is what can you believe anymore? Francesca says the Trump arrest. There were some fake images of Trump being arrested, weren't there, over the weekend?
Yes.
But they were made up.
Yes.
Probably on a computer.
They're all AI, yes, it's true. There have been some videos of Joe Biden that have been designed on a computer, but everyone knows that it's not Joe Biden because he's speaking too eloquently and quickly. He's not making any mistakes. Now, I'm not being sarcastic there. I'm just saying that's how people were recognising that they weren't real. So even supporters of Joe Biden were saying, that's not Joe Biden talking there. It can't be because he's doing it too fast and he's not making any mistakes. So I thought that was quite funny. So that's one of the things computers can't do. It can't recreate your idiosyncrasies, your little faults.
Not yet.
on your flaws. So that is the way you can always spot or tell the difference. It's a bit like Blade Runner. If you remember, that's what Blade Runner was all about. It was seeing how machines react to certain emotional stimulation.
My favourite ever science fiction film.
Anyway, we've got to move on. That was today's subject. We were talking all about AI. In a moment, we have fill in the blanks.
Time to wake up.
Okay, I'm trying to do a link, Steve. Yeah. I want to play that every week. You have no idea how much work went into that. So there it was, today's subject. However, we are now going to do something else, Steve. Are you ready for the game that everyone loves to play? Are you ready to put your thinking caps on? Please do not use any artificial intelligence to work out the answers, or I will be very, very disappointed. Can you see what I'm doing here, Steve? I'm trying to find something.
Are we playing fill in the blanks, Mr. Duncan?
We might be in a moment if I can find the intro.
There's a nice picture there for some hot cross buns.
Wait there, Steve. I can't find it. Where is it gone? I used to have a lovely thing that went fill in the blanks, and now I can't find it. It's gone. That is really annoying. Wait there a minute. I'll find it in a second.
Go and make yourself a cup of tea.
Go and make yourself a cup of tea. That is really weird.
Well, I see. Artificial intelligence has removed it from your computer.
Yes. See, what I could have done there, Steve, I could have actually... Oh, wait there. I think I've found it. Is this it? Maybe this is it. Let's see if this works. No, that isn't it.
Yes, it says... Yeah.
Oh, no, it's the wrong one.
Oh.
It's the wrong one, Steve. I can't find it. Where's it
Doesn't
gone?
matter, Mr. Duncan.
Just fill in the blanks. Fill in the blanks. Fill in the blanks.
I think people know what it is.
Fill in the
Don't think you necessarily have to do it, Mr. Duncan.
I'm going to cry. I'm going to cry because it's there. It has to be there somewhere. I know it's there somewhere. I'm not going to stop. I'm sorry, Steve. You know me. I can't
think amongst yourselves while Mr. Duncan finds a clip that he wants to show you.
Well, it's the intro. It's a very important thing. It's the intro to fill in the blanks. No, I can't find it.
It's gone blank.
It's not fair. I can't find it. Okay, let's do this instead. Fill in the blanks. 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 Okay, that's it.
That's the intro.
Yeah. That's really annoying. If I had a computer that was very, very intelligent, I could say, computer, play, fill in the blanks, the jingle and the song. And then I wouldn't have to look at it with my stupid
but then you wouldn't want
eyes.
to announce it like that, would you?
Well, I wouldn't, you see. No, that's true, which is why I wouldn't do it. Oh, can I quickly say thank you very much? I forgot to say thank you very much to Maruzio Iannucci, who sent a lovely donation to PayPal.
I don't know if Maurizio is on today.
Maurizio, thank you very much for your lovely donation.
Is it Maurizio or is it Maurizio?
Okay, Steve. Thank you very much for your lovely donation. Here we go then. We're going to play fill in the blanks now. Are you ready?
Oh, finally.
It's all related to computers. So I hope you like computers. Oh, hang on a second.
I was wondering whether you'd be able to find your actual fill in the blanks things.
God. Something terrible has happened, Steve.
Have you just not uploaded it?
I've not put it into my system.
Well, they're all there, aren't they?
No, that isn't. That's just what we've done.
Oh, right.
Oh, this is really embarrassing. There should be fill in the blanks here. This is the problem when I'm trying to do 20,000 things at once.
Well, maybe you shouldn't spend 5 hours creating a video clip when you spend more time on the important things, Mr. Duncan.
No, okay, then Oh, well, that's really annoying. Wait there. I'm just going to see if I can do this somehow. I don't think I'm going to be able to do it. Oh, this is so annoying. I'm really embarrassed,
Maybe
everyone.
you could go to your main computer and...
No, I can't because I can't see the screen. Oh, that is so... I'm really, really embarrassed by this. So this is the problem. Recently, my brain has not been very good because I've been distracted by certain things. And today, I've done it. I've made the biggest mistake that I could probably imagine ever making live on YouTube.
It's probably not that bad, Mr. Duncan.
It is to me.
Maybe we could just say what they are.
Well, no, because
Maybe we could write them down on bits of paper and
I
do
can't
it that
remember.
way.
I can't remember them. I've got to see them, Steve, to do it.
Don't you remember what you created?
Well, I've created about 20,000 things today with different words and all sorts of stuff. That is just awful. I feel so embarrassed by that.
We'll just have to go early, won't we?
Yeah, I had this lovely thing planned. Let's have a look. So that's that.
Are we still on, Mr. Duncan?
We're still on, Mr. Steve, don't worry. So I've got it there, but I also need it in my files, and my files are on the other screen, which is over there, and I can't get to them.
Can't you?
No, unfortunately,
Okay.
because it's the same screen that's on.
Well, it's been nice being here, Mr. Duncan.
I'm trying to get it up, as it were.
You mean that, yes.
Oh, that is really annoying. Wait there, Steve. Steve is now going to entertain you for a few moments with a song.
Oh, gosh, you're leaving me in the lurch, Mr. Duncan. Let's have a look on the live chat and see if anyone's got anything they want to chat to us about.
That is just terrible.
Yeah, so does anybody use Siri? Or is anybody using... if anyone's got an iPhone, do you use Siri? Do you find it useful? Because I must admit, I've switched it off on mine. I find it extremely annoying. And I've got friends that use Alexa, but whenever I've been there, it never seems to work very well. They always find it a bit embarrassing because they're shouting out instructions about bits of music they want to play, and it never seems to understand what they're saying. Oh, right. This is interesting, says V. Oh, it's a joke. Vitas is putting jokes up. Thank you very much, Vitas. We need you to entertain everybody while Mr. Duncan finds the clips that he has lost. So I've got nothing to say, Mr. Duncan. I've got no material. There's nothing on the live chat for me to talk about whatsoever. And I can't think of anything to say. I can't sing anything because it'll come up as some kind of, you'll be blanked or blocked. Yeah. So I can't do that. I can't talk about funerals because that'll upset you. I could go and talk about that, but we've already tried to talk about that, and that upset people, so we won't be doing that one either. Is this going to work, Mr. Duncan, or not?
Yes. You just have to give me a moment.
Mr. Duncan's trying to fix things.
Just talk.
I've got nothing to say, Mr. Duncan.
I've
got nothing to say.
You spend hours on the phone talking to people.
Well, that's because they're talking back at me, Mr. Duncan, and we've got things to talk about. But I could talk about cars, but that's just going to bore people stupid.
That will bore everyone.
Yeah, shall I talk about V8 motors and my current fantasy for an M550i? But I think that will just bore people because unless there's somebody interested that would like to talk about big engines in cars, which you would probably think. Well, somebody did talk about electric cars earlier. And of course, that is talking about the latest technology. Now, somebody said they were very impressed with electric cars and they think that could be the way forward. And of course, electric cars, as we well know, they are going to ban internal combustion engines or ICE cars. This is what you get, Mr. Duncan, if you're not here. You get me talking about cars. 2035 is when the EU is going to ban the sale of cars with internal combustion engines, and everything is only going to be available that's electric. But I have read today that Germany is protesting against this and has protested against this. And they're now going to allow the sale of internal combustion engines from 2035 as long as it uses fuel that isn't from oil. So you can get your lovely V8 motor and you can carry on using it forever.
Shut up, Steve. Here we go. Fill in the blanks, fill in the blanks, fill in the blanks.
Yeah, you could have just put a video on, Mr. Duncan, rather than leaving me in the lurch.
Okay. Well, I thought you would be used to ad-libbing.
Well, I've got to have a subject to talk about, which was cars. Yes. Anyway, you've now cut me off. So does this now mean we can play fill in the blanks?
Fill in the blanks. Here we go. It's on the screen.
Has anybody left watch?
How do you actually notice what happens on the live stream here on this screen in front of you? Can you blank me blank to blank my computer? So here we go. We finally have fill in the blanks. Unfortunately, I forgot to put them into the system, and it's not an easy thing to do. So I've just done it. And this is one of them. We'll have two before we go. Can you something me something to something my computer? And that is it. That is the fill in the blanks after almost 6 minutes of me.
Grammar is the main point of this.
Yes, but don't worry too much about it. Just give it a try. We're not here to bore you with grammar. So just give it a try. If it's wrong, I will correct you. If it's right, I will give you a thumbs up.
Well, we've got 2 correct answers already. Oh. Valentin says, give money and fix. Can you give me money to fix my computer?
Oh, yes. That's something I often say.
Bruno says, can you show me how to use my computer?
Can you show me how to use my computer? And it is something that not everyone can do. It is amazing. It does amaze me when I find out there are people that don't have a computer. It seems to me, with my busy life, now I spend most of my time sitting in front of a computer these days, to be honest. And I always find it amazing when there are people who have no computers in their house or in their life.
I don't know anyone like that. Francesca says, can you explain me how to use my computer? Well, that's nearly right. If you were going to use the word explain, you would have to say, can you explain to me?
Yes.
You can't just say, can you explain me?
So there would have to be another to. Can you explain to me how to use my computer? So you would have to change the composition slightly.
Which is why can you show me how to use my computer would be a different way of saying it, but grammatically correct in this context.
Yes.
So just to explain.
Because you're doing it physically. To show someone how to do it normally means you have to physically do it. You have to show it. You can explain by vocalizing or writing, but to actually show someone how to do something, it's always physical. You are always doing it physically. So I might show Mr. Steve how to operate the computer. I can explain to Mr. Steve how to do it verbally, or maybe in writing, or maybe with something that I've drawn. So there are many ways of doing that.
I've seen that before, actually, when people use those 2 words together. Explain and explain me. You in British in English, you can't say, can you explain me? You can explain to me, meaning a verbal explanation. So if you're going to use the word explain, you have to put to in front after that, and then me, for that to be grammatically correct, as you say, because it's a verbal. So we've got other ones here.
Okay.
Can you guide me how to set my computer? Set, or you would use the word set my computer, not really, to set up.
Actually, you can use guide if you use how. Can you guide me how to use my computer. However, it would not be very grammatically correct. So it would make sense, but it wouldn't be correct grammatically, unfortunately.
Yes, to set my computer, that doesn't quite work either. You'd have to use to set up my computer or to alter my computer. You wouldn't use the word set my computer.
Yes.
I know I understand what you mean, but it's not quite grammatically correct.
Even build as well.
Build.
Can you
yes.
show me how to build my computer like I did last year? So a year ago, I was here in this studio building my own computer, and I managed to do it, and that's the computer I'm using now.
Lewis has got, can you tell me how to fix my computer? Yes, which is a very common phrase that people use when it comes to their computers.
Can I say hello to Luis Mendez? Hello, Luis. Nice to see you here. So yes, fix your computer. Fix. Yes. Can you show me how to fix my computer? When your computer goes wrong, when it stops working, it can be rather annoying, to be honest. I think you're right there.
Can you tell me how to open my computer?
Yes, that's a good one.
That works if you want to unscrew it.
No, or boot up. To boot your computer is to open or start your computer. Yeah, that's very good, Steve.
Can you tell me when to reboot my computer?
Yes.
Yeah. If you need to reboot it and you need to know when, that one works.
So there are many things you might have to do to your computer if you want it to run smoothly or operate correctly. Okay, I will show my answer. I have an answer here.
Okay. A suggestion.
Okay. So let's do. I'm having some.
Francesca's got a good one. Can you tell me how to destroy my computer?
Yes. I'm thinking
a hammer.
I'm thinking of doing the same thing now because this stopped working. Anyway.
How to carry my computer.
Good.
How to fix my computer.
Okay.
Where to put my computer. Yeah, that's fine. All of those work.
Here we go then. Here's my answer. I can't have the little cockerel coming up because my little thing's broken.
That's AI, you see, is interfering with you.
It's going well today. Can you show me when, or can you explain to me if we had to? But instead of that, we're going to ask the person to show instead. Can you show me when to update my computer? Of course, instead of show, we can also have tell.
Yeah.
Can you tell me when to update my computer? So often your software inside the computer will have to update. It will have to be renewed if any changes have been made.
Or can you tell me how to update my computer? Yeah, because sometimes they automatically update now, but how to do the settings. Yeah.
So can you show me when to update my computer, or can you show me how to update?
Well done. We've had many correct suggestions for that one.
Would you like another one? Because I've managed to squeeze another one into the system.
Oh right, okay.
Very quickly. I can't believe how quickly I did that. But
we could say advise, Lewis. Yes, we could say that definitely.
My something has something. It's something. Oh,
and this is tech related, is it? This is AI or computer related.
It's more computer related.
Computer related.
So think of computers, think of a computer, and think of something that, I suppose, something you use all the time. If you are using a computer, there is something you use. In fact, there might be more than one thing you use when you're using a computer. So think of not the outside of a computer.
Well, yeah.
Think of something else.
I'm sure that our very intelligent and non-artificial intelligent people will come up with many suggestions.
I think so. I think you're right there.
What would happen if you were to put that into ChatGPT? GTP or whatever it is, would it fill in the blanks for you?
It would not.
Right, okay.
It might come up with a very long essay using those particular words. Apparently, also another thing you can do on Chat GPT. I wish they would change the name to something that's easy to pronounce. Superbrain, something like that. Can we call it something else? Give it a more easy to pronounce name. So yes, it would probably give you a very long essay, but it can actually correct grammar. And there are many software devices now that use this, many software programs. I think the most popular one at the moment is something called Grammarly, which uses virtually the same sort of thing. It is using AI to correct your grammar and also your English as well. So
Francesca's got one here. It's not computer related, but it sort of fits. My old pen has finished its refill.
Okay.
So it fits, but I know what you're trying to say, but finished its refill isn't quite correct, You'd say my old pen has exhausted its refill,
yeah.
you could say.
Or its ink.
Has exhausted its ink or finished its ink, yeah.
Yes. It's a very technical way of describing a very simple occurrence. So quite often in English, we don't normally use very technical things to explain something simple that has happened. But that's all I'm saying.
Here's a computer-related one. My old computer has reached its limits.
Ah,
yeah.
Yes, that is.
Yeah.
That often happens with technology. You buy a piece of technology and then 2 years later, it's old, it's out of date, and you have to throw it away.
My GPU processor has exceeded its limit.
Oh,
says Jimmy from Hong Kong.
That's a good
Get
one.
a new one then. Oh, no, you were just, yeah.
Hello, Jimmy.
Yes.
Nice to see you here as well.
My old computer has reached its end, says Olga. My
Oh.
old computer has reached its end or reached its limit. Yes. My English company has changed its name. Yeah, nothing to do with computers, but it definitely you've definitely filled in the blanks.
Yes, very good.
My mobile phone has crashed its system. Yeah,
It happens a lot.
yeah.
I hate it. I hate it when your mobile device or your computer crashes. It's not much fun. Anyway, I will give the answer to this. This is the
Okay.
answer. This is the answer that I had. I wish we had Mr. Cockerell, but unfortunately, I think my computer is starting to slowly die right in front of me. I think it's been listening to what I've been saying. It's starting to sabotage my show. It's starting to think for itself. So this is what I had. Oh, my hard drive has reached its limit. So it can't store any more information. So your hard drive is something that's used to store data. And these days, of course, there are many different ways of storing data internally in your computer and also up there in the cloud as well. I suppose you could say my memory chip has reached its limit, or my memory card has reached its limit.
Or my GPU processor, as Jimmy says, has exceeded its limits or reached its limits. Yeah.
So quite often with computers, especially computers, it happens to me sometimes when I'm trying to do too much on my computer. The poor little processor can't cope. It gets very hot, and then suddenly my computer will stop working. So that is the problem. And also you might run out of space to actually store things in your computer as well.
My memory unit has reached its limits.
Good.
Allenton, yeah.
Thank you for your efforts and thank you for joining me today. I hope you've enjoyed today's live stream with myself and Mr. Steve. Apologies once again for my slight mistake, but I as I said, I'm a bit distracted at the moment. If I don't reply to your emails, I am going to get around to it, but next week, pretty busy, various things going on. So I won't be with you on Wednesday. I will be somewhere else on Wednesday. But of course, we will be back with you next Sunday, we are going to find out how much I weigh, how much of my body weight have I lost.
Python, if you watch the start of this live stream, you will get more information on AI. Of course, there's lots available online, but my beloved... Right, that's it. Right, Mr. Duncan, I'm going to put the kettle on. Lovely to be here today. Nice to see you all. Hope you have a lovely week and you managed to learn something from today's live stream.
Yes.
Please don't forget to like it.
We are going together.
All right, okay.
Yes. I have nothing else to say. I have nothing else to declare but my... What was it? My genius. Not me. I didn't say that. It was somebody else. It was that bloke up the road. So it's time to go. See you next Sunday. It will be April next week. We will be in a new month. Ooh.
Yes, April showers, as they say in the UK.
Yes. And don't forget, don't get caught out on April the 1st with all of those April Fool jokes.
Francesca says, my lovely live stream has reached its end,
Yes.
which was filling in the last fill-in-the-blank suggestion.
I
So
hope
thanks
you've
for
enjoyed it. I hope you've enjoyed I hope you've enjoyed today's live stream. And I will see you next Sunday, 2 p.m. UK time. From Mr. Steve and myself, you know what's coming next. Take care of yourself. Have a good week. And of course, until the next time we meet here, shall we do it, Mr. Steve?
Okay. Ta-ta for now.
Oh,
right.
shall we do it together?
Okay.
1, 2, 3. Ta-ta,
Ta-ta
for now.